My wife and I were out running and we were chatting about the cost of living crisis and this whole conundrum of we used to get our oil from Russia, now we're going to Saudi Arabia, but yet the Saudis executed 81 people this week and they did it by beheading the most brutal way. And then we're chatting, well, where else could we get our oil from? What about Canada? But then they tend to harvest their oil from the oil sands in a really environmentally damaging way. And so it's just disorientating and raising all these ethical dilemmas as we read the news. This story of this, I think it's 15-year-old black girl who was strip searched at school on suspicion of having cannabis, taken away from other adults, a completely degrading, humiliating and illegal search carried out on her. And then on the other side we read about Nazarene Zaharia Ratcliffe, who was freed after 6 years in prison in Iran and gets to now reunite with her husband and with her kid. And so how do we process these stories of ethical dilemmas and of conflict? I was reminded of a quote from C.S. Lewis, who said, "War creates no absolutely new situation. It simply aggravates the human condition until we can no longer ignore it." Earlier this week, the pictures from Ukraine were of the bombing of a mother and baby hospital, and there was a particularly striking image of a pregnant woman being carried on a stretcher that had a kind of watermelon drape on it. And then we read that the baby had died and the mum had died. And I was reminded of that quote that war creates no new situation. Violence against women, violence against the unborn is not new, but it aggravates it, it brings it to the fore. And we wrestle and we cry out and we turn to the Psalms of Lament, and we have the opportunity to donate and to open up our homes. And we at the project just figure that all these stories just continue to remind us, what does it mean to be human is the question being asked. We want to continue to signpost towards Jesus, just saying that is the perfect human being who came and lived and died for us, who came to restore the image of God in us and in every human being, and then calls us into a new humanity, a new community. It is the church with all its shortcomings and all its limitations. So we want to thank you for continuing to journey with us. Be blessed.